journey. Welcome to your multidimensional journey. I am Tracy Canberra, and today's topic is finding balance and making intuitive choices during tumultuous times. So we just finished with our eclipse season, the lunar eclipse, and the very, very powerful and intense solar eclipse. And now today we're at the full moon after the solar eclipse. And I personally find that the full moon time after any solstice or equinox or eclipse to be almost, if not more, powerful than the eclipse itself. It's like everything comes in during that specific planetary event, but it anchors in and starts really being utilized during the next full moon. Hence to say, a lot of people, myself included, my friends, my family, my clients, but I'm seeing it in myself too. I am not immune because I am an intuitive channel. All of us are finding that it's a very tumultuous time. There's a lot of sudden situations coming up that require a decision, and sometimes a very fast decision. And it's really difficult to find that balance and that calm and peace, that anchoring, when the world is so chaotic and the energies are so intense and everything is just really tumultuous. So how do we find that balance, stay in that balance, and make good choices? That's what we tell our horses when we kiss them. Okay, make good choices, boys. So I don't know if they do or not. We don't always watch the cameras. I will tell you now, if you are focused on the outer world, you are not going to find balance or stay balanced, because the outer world is like a crazy ping pong game. It is just back and forth. Sometimes the ball comes at you really hard. Sometimes it's really soft and you have to jump for it. It's crazy energy. So how do you stay balanced in that when all of this is coming at you, when everything that you read, you hear about, you watch is pulling you in emotional directions? I mean, we have opinions. We have patterns and beliefs from the time we were in utero. Our whole incarnation growing up, we are being patterned and programmed, and beliefs are being created within us, mostly from our parents and our teachers and our friends and our siblings. But when we really look inside, we have to ask ourselves, how are those beliefs and patterns, thoughts and feelings working for us? Do we really want to keep them? Are they even ours? So step one to finding balance is to question everything you think and feel. Every action you make, pause, step back. Souls are saying that every day in every client session. Take a pause, step back, look at the bigger picture, be the objective observer, and ask yourself, is this in my highest good? Is this what's best for me? Is this in my passion? Is this bringing me more happiness, more contentment, more joy? Question it. We tend to run blindly with our patterns, and we all do it. So when we feel the intensity and we react, rather than respond, we react to the intensity, we're doing it with the brain, with the ego mind, not with our awareness, with our true multidimensional mind, with our true consciousness. And that is a very, very major thing we need to shift out of to reach the 5D state of being and stay there. So we step back, we pause, we ask ourselves, is this my highest good? And once you really feel into the situation, you either keep the choice, which means keeping that action, keeping that feeling, or you use your tools to actively change it. You acknowledge and accept. You acknowledge, no, this choice isn't in my highest good. It's in their highest good, but it's not in my highest good. Okay, I accept that. I acknowledge that. What would be in my highest good? And I put my hands on my heart. I feel into it. Okay, I'd rather do that. And now this is the big decisions and the little decisions. If the big ones are tough, start with the little ones. When you're grocery shopping Ask yourself, do I really want to buy this? Do I really want to have this food in my house? Feel into yourself. No, no, you're just feeling the stress of this full moon, so you're reaching for this snack, this comfort food. Okay, I get that. So I'm going to leave it on the shelf. Now, when we acknowledge our thoughts, feelings, behaviors, actions, patterns, beliefs, when we acknowledge them and we accept them, no judgment and no criticism, okay? You didn't actively buy that pattern on your own. You have been trained and conditioned in pattern like that from birth. So why judge yourself and why judge the ones that patterned you? Because they were conditioned from birth also. So we simply accept, oh, okay, well, here's a pattern. Yep, I do this. Okay. No judgment, just acknowledgement. So once you acknowledge and accept that you have that belief or pattern, that thought or feeling, you're going to ask, what would be in my highest good? And you feel into yourself, okay, I don't want that snack at the grocery store. I want something healthy. So I will make that choice instead and make sure I have that in the house instead. No judgment, no criticism. I just don't want to go down the cookie path. When you acknowledge and accept, then it is time to find a better choice. And there are times where we don't honor the better choice, where we acknowledge this choice is in my highest good, my highest passion, but I'm going to make that choice instead. And I call it the fourth margarita choice. So you're out with your friends, you're having margaritas, chips and salsa, and it's time to order another drink. And you know, if I have this fourth margarita, I'm going to feel it tomorrow morning. I'm not going to be as productive. It could hurt. But even though I acknowledge that that's not what's in my highest good, having a fourth margarita, I'm having fun. You know what, Spirit? I'm willing to take the ramifications from the fourth margarita because right now I want to continue this wonderful journey with my friends. So you consciously go against your intuition, go against your soul spirit. To me, in all the examples I've seen in all the years I've been doing this work and been on this journey, as long as you consciously make that choice, then you're living in awareness. And that's what this is about. So you have the fourth margarita. You have a much longer fun time with your friends that night. And when you get home, you're aware. So you drink more water and you take aspirin or Tylenol or whatever you take. And the next morning, you know that you're going to have to make a little extra time to make your hangover breakfast before you go to work or whatever your path is. But you consciously made the choice. You didn't blindly react. And that is all your soul asks of you, is to consciously make choices from a place of your highest good, highest joy. Because having that fourth margarita was your highest joy in that moment. And when you thought about it and you became consciously aware of what you would need to do that night and the next morning, because you would have physical effects from that margarita, then you followed your joy and you made good intuitive choices based on where that path of joy was going to lead you. So we have the ability to make great intuitive choices during tumultuous times. All we have to do is step back, pause, feel, sense what is in our highest good at this time, and then make the choice to follow that highest good, highest joy, highest passion. And if we make a choice that we know will have ramifications, if we make a choice that is in our loved one's highest good rather than our own, then instead of going into victimhood or sacrifice energy, it becomes a conscious choice. I am not a victim because I chose to go pick up a friend that was stranded when I know darn well they could have asked someone else. And I was already firmly ensconced in my jammies with a book, and it's kind of late. I don't like driving at night, but they called and they need help because they had another fight with their boyfriend. So I paused. I took a few deep breaths. What do I want to do? What is in my highest good? And of course, well, it's in my highest good to stay on the couch with my book because I was really enjoying myself. And then you're like, well, I want to be there for my friend. I want to help her out. Okay, no judgment, no criticism. I'm going to choose to go pick her up. And because it is an active, conscious choice, then you're not moving into victimhood. You're not moving into manipulated energy, controlled energy, where your friend knows they can count on you because you're the pushover. No, none of that. We stay in balance. We stay anchored in our energy. So instead of going into those directions of victimhood or manipulation or anything else, we acknowledge and accept that we made this informed, intuitive choice to do it, and we do it with our self-empowerment. So that is how to make intuitive choices in tumultuous times. Now, it's easier to make these intuitive choices when you are balanced, calm, centered, at peace. And, I'm laughing inside and you're probably laughing now. Balance, centered, and peace. I'll tell you, yesterday morning, and this is before the full moon, I woke up, I was literally yanked out of a dream. I don't know what that was about, but I could feel myself yanked out of whatever journey I was on and plopped back in my bed. I mean, I swear I even bounced. And I'm like, okay, guys, I'm back here. What did you want? So I got up and all of the sadness rolled in. I've got family stuff going on. And remember, when I record meditations, Mercury retrograde, when I've got technical difficulties, I have to record it 2 or 3 times. And as I edit it, I am listening to it another 2 or 3 times. So imagine if you went through one of my YouTube meditations 5 times in a row. It gets me. It works on me. I'm clearing out. So when I got up yesterday, the sadness started. And generally, I don't go for sadness. I feel way too grateful and way too blessed, so I don't get into sadness or depression. Well, I was sad. So again, I acknowledged and accepted how I felt. I let the tears come. And I'll say I've got that meditation on YouTube with the releasing and healing emotions. We all have these trapped or stuck emotions that are the bookmarks to events that we're holding on to. So when you're feeling emotions you prefer not to, it's your clue that there is a pattern or a belief stuck in you that was created from an event, and that trigger is still inside you. So I accepted, I acknowledged, that's how I'm feeling. I let the tears come. I followed my emotional release meditation and pictured that river and let the sadness flow right through me. And there's a reason for it. It is a sign. So I looked for the sign. I looked for the signal and went, okay, why am I sad? Sometimes you'll easily see it and you'll know which pattern it's time to release. Sometimes, like yesterday, I was feeling everything. The planetary shifts, humanity shifts. I mean, sometimes you just feel it all. We're all empathic. So I let it flow through me. I'm not telling you to sit in it. I'm not telling you to wallow. We fall in the mud puddle. Get out. Okay, let it flow through you and then reach for your tools. Stand out in the sun. Go kiss a horse's nose. Go do jumping jacks. Do some yoga. I do a lot of the beautiful solfeggio music or light codes on YouTube. So I got out my tools after it flowed through me, and I acknowledge this is just a culmination of everything. It's not just one event. And if it came from the dream journey I was doing, like most everybody, I don't remember it. I don't know what that dream was. So I'm just letting it flow through me, and then I'm reaching for my tools. And as I reached for the tools, I returned to my inner peace and calm. Because as we're focused on the outer world, which is necessary to work and to drive and to make dinner for the family, it is necessary. But when we're focused on the outer world, it's like we say in yoga, then the tail's wagging the dog. And we're going to find ourselves more reactionary. So I went inward. I watched the emotions, I watched them flow through me. Then once I sensed that the emotions had flowed through and I felt more empty, more ready, then I reached for the tools that work best for me. And some days it's one or two. Some days I swear I'll go through 10 different tools. I will try everything. So I did the tools until I felt that inner balance and calm again, until I could return to contentment. I am not reaching for happiness and ecstasy and passion. I'm just reaching for balance and calm. And then I'll work my way to contentment. So it's important to get your toolkit in order. Try everything. Know what works for you. Know what you can do at work. I mean, if something happens, I don't know that you can bust out the yoga moves in your office, but you can put your headphones in and you can listen to the music that puts you back in the vibe, right? So use the tools in your toolkit to return to that balance and know that your balance, your calm, your peace, your stability, your anchoring is always found within you, not in the outer world, not in the friend that helps you through it, but inside yourself. So you reach inward. You ask your guides and angels for assistance. They can see, but I talk to them like they can't. I'm like, guys, I'm having a real hard time here today. Like, wow, what is this? What is this sadness? What can I look at to move through this sadness? Sometimes they'll say, it's time to release this because we know that part of the solar eclipse and part of these new light codes on the planet that are helping up level our vibration so that we move into 5D state of being, that requires a lot of release. And a lot of things are going to be coming up this year. So sometimes my soul and my peeps, my team, they will say, it's this, you got to work through this. And then sometimes they're just like, okay, breathe through it. And I'm like, so y'all aren't going to tell me what it is. Just release. This is another tip. You don't need to know what that pattern or that trigger or that limiting belief is. Sometimes we're just working through it and releasing it. And sometimes we're looking at it. It is our human nature to go into the mental body, to go into the brain and analyze the crap out of it. Not going to work. Get out of your head. You can't analyze it. You can't talk about, well, I got to make these choices and I've got to. No. Return to your heart. Sit in the situation, feel the feelings, let them roll through you. Return to your balance. Return to love and compassion. And from that space, decisions will come. Choices can be made. But get out of your head and back into your heart. Go inward, use your tools to find your balance, and keep returning to that balance. When something happens that you don't like, when you're triggered, when you feel yourself reacting, or when you're just having a hard time today, I will announce to my daughter, it's like an Instagram meme, today is not the day and I am not the person. So I do acknowledge and I do state to those I'm involved with that I'm having a really hard time. I don't need help with this. I just want you to know this is not the day for us to talk about this. And then I go back inward. I go to my tools. I find my balance. I go make myself happy because happiness is a choice. And I don't want to wallow in the lower frequencies. So use your tools to find your balance every time you become aware that you are being pulled in either direction, every time you become aware that you are being reactionary. Grab your tools, movement, music, cute puppy videos, whatever it is. Use your tools, return to balance, return to calm, then reach for contentment, then reach for happiness. Then look at your situation and ask yourself, because we are all intuitive. You have it. You can talk to your soul. You can sense the answer. Sense what is in my highest good and see what comes to you. What would bring me the most joy in this situation? And see what comes to you. And then actively, consciously make a choice with no self-judgment and no self-criticism. And here is another tip for finding balance and calm and making intuitive choices. There are often times where I will tell myself or my loved ones or clients, if you take all the emotion out of this situation, what are you left with? You're left with a choice you have to make. Since my mom now has to move houses suddenly in her 80s, she is bombarded with a lot of choices and really only has one person to help her. So I told her yesterday when she was so overwhelmed, and again, I'm very far away from her, thousands of miles. And I told her, if you take a breath and remove all emotion from the situation, what are you left with? A lot of carloads or renting a U-Haul van and putting everything in it and taking one load up. Those are your choices. So if you can remove all emotion from the situation, what are you left with? Or there are other times where I find myself triggered and I have to ask myself, if love and compassion were my only emotion, what choice would I make? Because oftentimes somebody will do something that affects us in our life, and we will react with anger or frustration or sadness or whatever emotion comes up first. And so I step back, I pause, and I go, okay, if love and compassion were my only emotions, what would I do right now? What would I say to this person? How would I act around this person? What would I do? So remember those two tricks. When you become aware that you are reacting, that you are feeling anxiety or overwhelm or anger or anything else. So that's it. Tips and tricks to stay balanced, to find your calm, to make intuitive choices during these tumultuous times. Because I got to say, they're not ending. The intensity, the chaos, and the tumultuous, it's not going to end this year, next year, or the year after. So it is not that those things end. It is that our reaction to them ends. It is that our ability to find peace and calm and stay there during the chaos, during the intensity, falling off the horse and getting back on, or maybe just deep breathing on the horse so you stay on. That is how we get into 5D, that state of being where these things don't cause a reaction, where we can smile and stay out of it, rise above it, flow. Okay, I hope that helps. Looking at the guides of humanity, like the collection of guides that help with everybody, and they're really happy now. They're really excited about this time. This is time of great change, but this is time of ascension. We are passing the Atlantean points of 3D or 5D, of making that choice. Which reality are you committing to? So Atlantis is coming up a lot nowadays for a great many people because we are in these Atlantean points right now. My podcast episode Friday is about Atlantis and Lemuria, and this week's meditation is on Lemurian light codes and love and a journey to Talos. So I will see you then.